Welcome to this tutorial on LeBook. My name is Grischa Erbe and I develop LeBook. LeBook is a Cinema 4D asset that makes the rendering of publications such as books and magazines incredibly easy. It requires at least Cinema 4D release 16, but with release 17, LeBook has some additional options. The Cinema 4D version you use should include the MoGraph module, character tools and physical renderer. To my knowledge, this currently applies for versions Broadcast and Studio, but also for the free version for students. The aim of LeBook is to make the usage of the asset as simple as possible, while preserving all the flexibility a 3D application can offer. I will now give you a brief insight into the functionality of LeBook. As I said, LeBook is a Cinema 4D asset. In other words, it's a Cinema 4D project file. If you open it, it will look like that. All settings that LeBook provides are available in the corresponding object. If we click on the object, all settings are visible in the Attribute Manager. I have registered LeBook already. I didn't do any other changes. When starting LeBook, a README appears. I'm going to hide it first. I have a very nice book by Hammer, a graphic design studio in Zurich, which I would like to render. The book is 19.8 to 29.7 centimeters tall. That's the first thing I said. The book block of this book is about 11 millimeters thick. I want to render only the cover for this tutorial. Therefore, I will go to the scene settings and choose cover from the provided views. Now when I go back to book, I load the textures for the front, back and spine of the book. You will notice that only the options are shown that are actually needed for the particular view and binding. If I want, for example, render a magazine with saddle stitching, the option for the spine texture disappears, as a backstab stapled book does not have a spine. The settings of hidden options are preserved and will be displayed again when they are used. Since this book is a full bleed photo book, the book block should not be uniformly white. Each page should have a different color. For this, I set a basic random color, maybe a reddish gray. I will set the chance a little higher and mix in random colors for individual pages. This gives the impression of many full bleed color pages. Next, I choose the paper type and grammage of cover and inner book. The paper type determines whether the paper is highly structured, 0%, uncoated, about 15%, semi-glossy, about 25%, or ultra-glossy, 100%. The grammage is modeled in the real unit. For my rendering, I will choose 12% for the cover and 320 grams per square meter. The inner part is a glossy paper with 100 grams per square meter and 85% is already glossy. The ground for this rendering should be white. So I switch to the setting of the scene and drag the white paper material in the appropriate field. I don't care of the scaling. The book should not be at an angle but a little bit hovering. To emphasize realistic inaccuracies in the book block and the cover, I leave the slider at 100%. To adjust the perspective, I choose the tab Camera Settings. I have some presets stored, suitable for cover shots and shots of the open book. You can manually adjust the perspective as well. For my rendering, I will choose preset 2 from the cover and zoom in a little bit. I'm asked if the highlight position should be taken from the preset. I can later correct that manually, but usually that's a good starting point. For a less depth of field, I choose a smaller f number, for example 8. I will then set the focal plane on the book title. Fields of this type are to be understood as a plan view of the book or the scene. For a realistic rendering result, I can increase the inferiority of the lens slightly. This adds chromatic aberrations and lens distortions. Now we come to the lighting. I will choose a slightly higher ambient light intensity for this rendering. I raise the shadow hardness of the primary light. That is the only light casting shadows. Then I set the light and highlight position exactly as I like it to be. I will start the rendering by switching to Rendering Preview. I will choose a render preset size, let's say M. If I would render a preview of the changes I made, this preview would preserve the aspect ratio of the final rendering. As a final step, I specify where the rendering is to be saved and start the rendering. The rendering is now finished in about 4 minutes on a 2013 MacBook Pro and already stored in a selected location. You will notice the bright ambient light and quite transparent hard shadows under the book. The cover bends slightly upward. In less than a quarter of an hour I have rendered an individual mock-up of my book and can send it to a client or upload it to my portfolio. The book is available for currently €29.90. Thank you.